I think we are live. My PC still, or my laptop still says that we are waiting for Taival outdoors, but no, we are not. Just you guys are better. Okay. Welcome to the September live stream. Second time for us doing this, and this time around, as I promised last month, you got to decide the topic for this live stream, and I think over 50% of those who answered the poll did say that food prep would be an interesting topic. So why not then about food prep? I have actually a bit longer backpacking trip coming up, and this was also a perfect opportunity for me to do real food prepping a bit already this weekend for that upcoming trip. So it's not just me talking about these things, but I can actually show you what I've done so far. Let's see, I do have the live chat open there, so feel free to leave any comments at whichever point you feel like doing so. And just give me a quick heads up on the chat if the audio and video is good. It looks decent enough here, but you never know. And I did learn from last time, I am not charging the iPhone at the same time as I'm streaming and using it as a hotspot, because last time it overheated, and hopefully that doesn't happen this time around. But I figured we could start with breakfast. Obviously, I've done all my breakfast for the upcoming trip. So let's start with that. Then let's touch upon the basic store-bought backpacking meals, freeze-dried stuff, Real Turmat, and some others, because I really need to discuss about those, because there's people often think that they are really expensive and so forth and not worth it, but I want to go through them quickly. And then maybe the main thing for today is how do I then supplement those store-bought meals, and why, most importantly, since I do have those meals, but why do I then add anything to them, being kind of expensive as they are. And then once those are done, quickly maybe about snacks, maybe drinks, and kind of the extra stuff, and also what kind of items I have for food preparation then while I'm backpacking. All right, looks like people are finding the stream. That's nice. And of course, this will be then later on viewable through the channel as well. But as promised, let's start with these. So this is 1 week worth of breakfast. So in each individual bags, I have my basic breakfast that I've been having on all my trips for quite a few years now, actually. It's 1 deciliter of oatmeal. I try to have organic oatmeal if at all possible. You know, it's the little things that, anything that might ease your digestion while you are out there is good. So organic oatmeal, 1 deciliter of that, so that's roughly 45 grams. 1 deciliter of stevia flavored, in this case, kind of stevia chocolate flavored protein powder, whey protein. Also, again, roughly 40 to 50 grams. And then to add to those 2 components, so the basic oatmeal is of course unflavored, then stevia flavored protein powder, and then a bit of unflavored, so unsweetened electrolytes. And that's actually something that I picked up from Max Lugavir's podcast from some time ago, maybe a few months ago. I've been adding every now and then electrolytes to my food or carrying with me separately, but actually adding a bit of salt to stevia flavored and I guess other flavored protein powders as well really enhances the flavor. It sounds weird, but it works. So for these, I actually then add unflavored or unsweetened electrolytes, which basically taste nothing but salt, like nothing but salt. So having a bit of saltiness into it really makes these things taste quite a bit nicer than just the mixture in itself. But of course, if you go with unflavored protein powder, then adding more salt to it might not be for everyone. In total, this is roughly 350 calories, and throughout this live stream, I might be touching upon calories, but I guess people fall into two camps. So some people really calculate carefully all the calories for their trips, and I guess for me that would become reasonable if I would be out there for more than a week. But for a week or anything less, I'm not that excited about counting calories, because most of us have plenty of survival food around our belly area or our torsos. So going a bit with minus calories each day is not a problem, especially on shorter trips. And for me, I can easily go with quite heavy minus calories for many days in a row, but you have to know your body and how your body functions under that kind of stress. If you go with too low calories, then of course you are not just going to be slowed down and physically weak, but it starts to affect your mind as well. So just be aware of that. For me, what I'm going to pack here is going to be enough for the trip. I might lose a kilo or two during the week. That's not a big deal. But this is very easy to prep. Maybe the main downside might be that these individual bags are then quite heavy. This comes just shy of 100 grams. So I guess all in all, there's of course a bit of a difference in it within each bag, but generally 90 to 100 grams per bag. So that's already 0.7 kilos of food for 1 week just from the breakfast. But anyway, this is very quick thing to do and set up like this. Of course, the bags themselves are reusable for the same purpose, so doesn't create like an extra waste or anything like that. And that weight is actually with the bags themselves, so just shy of 100 grams. In terms of why I add protein powder to the oatmeal instead of just taking 2 deciliters, so 2 scoops of oatmeal, is that while the carbohydrates from the oatmeal are great for that energy, because you are essentially in a fasted state during sleep, and your body's BMR is going to be a bit higher during those backpacking trips, so how much calories you burn throughout the day all the time. So it's good to have those carbohydrates right when you wake up, although normally I don't eat breakfast, but I do recognize how important that is for longer backpacking trips. But the point of the protein powder is that carbohydrates, they just go right through you, basically. You burn them, and soon, if I would have just 2 deciliters of oatmeal, I would pretty soon start to feel hungry again. But the protein powder actually keeps you feeling full and not hungry for longer periods of time. So that's the primary reason. I can go for a longer time without having to stop for lunch. And the second thing is, of course, that especially with just standard store-bought freeze-dried meals, the protein content in these tends to be quite low. Meat is the most expensive part of all of these meals, regardless of the brand. So the amount of protein tends to be quite low. So upping the daily intake of protein already with the morning porridges kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. So super oatmeal, which I've been super happy with for many years and see no reason to switch to anything else basically. To go with morning porridge, of course, coffee every time. So I will take my trusty old coffee pot with me, and there's really not much to say about this except that carrying coffee, as I tend to carry coffee grounds with me, those are heavy as well. So, you know, some people might carry, I don't know, pillows or something, what they consider to be like a luxury item when they're backpacking. You know, everyone has something, but for me, the luxury item is this coffee pot and the coffee itself. I think that's just so essential part of the kind of my outdoor and backpacking experience that I am not going to go, especially for longer trips, without a coffee pot and a proper coffee. Of course, there could be that I could carry just kind of those whatever they're called, the kind of fast coffee, good coffee, instant coffee, of course, instant coffee. But you know, I prefer the flavor of real coffee. Then I promised to talk a bit about. Let's see. Yep. You can see something. A bit about this store-bought, freeze-dried, and dehydrated meals. Now, the thing is that I try to keep a bit of a stockpile of this stuff always available, so I don't have to go to a store or online shop and buy something before I go on a trip. And the reason for this is that I only buy these things when I see a good offer. That's one of the only kind of discounts that I'm always looking for. So that's my secret. For example, Real Turmat, something that I probably went like a few years without having any of these, because one bag of these can cost in Finland something like 11, 12 euros, something around those numbers, and that is insane amount of money for a bit shy of 600 calories. But I did recently purchase 10 bags because I found from one discount that you can get them with like 4 euros and something. So immediately went in, got 10. I might take some of these with me now during the next trip. Same thing with these. So while Real Turmat is very expensive, it's very high quality. It tastes really good. It doesn't have any palm oils or things like that going on for it. So I kind of get it that it is expensive. But then this Leader Outdoor is a brand in Finland, and unfortunately something that is very familiar with every Finn who has gone through military training, because this is the brand that gets served there. And the main downside of this is that the ingredients, one of the main ingredients is this one has the powdered vegetable fat, sunflower oil, glucose syrup flavoring, modified starch, anti-caking agent, which is silicon oxide, more starch, sugar, and then beef at 4%. And even that is of origin that is outside EU. So yeah, it kind of tastes like those ingredients, so not super flavorful. However, if you live in Finland, and I guess in Nordics in general, there is this shop called online shop. Is it Matsmart? .fi, of course, in Finland, and also Fiksu Ruoka in Finland, and both of those tend to have these Leader Outdoors for super cheap. So I think one bag is maybe like 2 euros or something like that every now and then. So very cheap. So that's why I also stockpile these. They lack in flavor and have questionable ingredients, but every now and then this is, you know, for the price, it's quite hard to beat, to be honest. And regardless of the brand, these meals have the same benefits. First of all, very lightweight, only need boiling or hot water. Secondly, which is maybe even more important, is that these bags are resealable. So when I start my trip, however long, the first meal is just going to be this. And then the next meal, I'm going to use the same bag as my plate. And so forth. And then when I accumulate more of these empty bags, I will just take one and use it as my trash bag because it is resealable, and just fold the other trash inside one of these or two of these, depending on the length of the trip. And that stays as my trash bag, seals up really nicely, and then I will use one bag as my kind of plate or bowl, which I used to eat from. And that system works really well. Also, if I want to add anything, for example, beef jerky or something else, when I'm making the meal, or my own dehydrated stuff, which we are going to cover just in a second, I can throw all of that in, even mix it with the food that's already there, put boiling water in and just let it sit for a bit longer, and, you know, make my food inside of this so I don't have to do any dishes while I'm out. Maybe I will do some dishes regarding the coffee cup or my kuksa or something like that, but I'm not preparing food in my kettle or pan or something like that if I can avoid it. Yeah, if some people every now and then ask for like a good brand of these, honestly, I just tend to go with whatever I can find from discount that isn't complete garbage and has resealable back and so forth. But so far, I have to say, tactical food packs have been my favorite. Reason being that they are made of 100% natural ingredients. They have the better shaped bag. So this kind of bag is kind of lame to eat from, and it's kind of funny that instead of people letting companies know that this format kind of sucks, the people instead buy these really long spoons and then say that these are really handy to eat from, to use to then eat from these kind of bags. But instead, just buy bags that are shaped like this. You can eat with, you know, standard size spoon just fine. Yeah, tastes really good. Bag is shaped very well, just as it should be. These are made in Estonia, and really nothing to complain about these ones. Quite hard to find good discounts on these. I have managed to grab some every now and then, and I did buy actually a bucket full of them maybe 2 years ago. I have a video on this on the channel. If you just search for survival food bucket or something like that, you should find it. Anyway, that was at the time at least, the cheapest way to buy a bunch of those tactical food packs as a kind of a bulk. Let's see, there's a comment. Hello there. What are your thoughts on canned food for backpacking? It's heavy. I have had canned food with me, and actually in Finland, in many places, especially the most popular, like national parks, they have those built-in systems by the wilderness huts where you can just go and crush your empty cans and you know, make them a lot smaller to carry around. But yeah, they are heavy, but every now and then I do enjoy myself a bit of a luxury. Some kind of canned tuna or canned salmon is really nice, or something that is maybe, well, not exotic, but it's kind of funny to have like canned meatballs or something every now and then. So yeah, I do go with that, and of course, canned pea soup is something that I've had plenty of times, and but yeah, it's just the weight and the space. But other than that, there's nothing inherently wrong, in my opinion. Varusteleka won't ship tactical food back to Canada. Okay, I think you should, in terms of Finnish shops that do might ship that to Canada, try varusted.net, or then just ask directly from Tactical Foodpack. I think they do have resellers all around the world now, slowly but surely building their empire. It's not an old brand. It's been I don't know if it says here, but only I would venture maybe 5 years or something. But anyway, these have quite a long shelf life, at least these tactical food packs. But yeah, price is a bit of an issue. Yeah, do check it out. But then moving on, what I do to complement those things. First of all, I think I have a couple of items here, but let me just turn you around a bit so I can show what's this setup. Maybe something like that. Yeah. So this is, I think, back in the day when I got this. So this food dehydrator machine. Basically, you just input how many hours you want it to run and in what kind of temperature. So 70 degrees right now, they kind of default, and then let it do its work. And we do dehydrate bits and pieces throughout the year. For example, our own apples and so forth. But what I use this for is I started the dehydration process today. I have a bit over 1 kilo of minced or ground beef, low fat ground beef. First prepared it on a pan, then tried to get rid of all the moisture already in that phase, and then just put it on these trays. And I have let this run now for a few hours, but I will continue running this tomorrow as well, just to make sure that I get rid of all the moisture that's inside of there. Once I'm happy with the result, I will take a big bowl, put these two things in the bowl, and then all this ground beef, and then probably supplement also with more pasta or something else, maybe seasoning, whatever sort of fits my mood at that point. So these are just very basic kind of ready meals. It says it has 4 to 8 portions in it. Outcome should look something like this, and these are fairly inexpensive in terms of quality of the calories and ingredients. Not super high, you know, basic palm oil stuff, but for some reason these at least this brand tastes still decent enough. This is just from other type of flavors, but basically the same thing. So I will put all of these into one big bowl, all of this, then maybe add pasta or something else, and split it in few bags and throw it into the freezer and leave it there, and just pull it out whenever I'm packing for my trip. You shouldn't necessarily need to or aren't required to put things in these type of things in the freezer, but that assumes that you've gotten every last bit of moisture out of this meat, and it's just something that I feel like it's kind of an extra risk, especially now that I need to wait for a bit less than 3 weeks still before I start my trip. So why not just throw it into the freezer, and you know, that way you are making sure that nothing goes bad, and all of your food prep stays good. Then to go with that mixture, as said, I can either mix it with food. Of course, I can eat it as is, just pour the mixture in one of these empty bags and then hot water on top, seal it up and let it sit there for quite some time to rehydrate and become again a meal. But this is what I have to go with it. So basic tortilla wraps. I will take these out of the original packaging, put them in a Ziploc bags once I've sort of figured out how much I need, how many wraps, maybe 2 per meal. And to go with these, I also bought, and which will also get the same treatment, so go in a Ziploc bag because there's a lot of trapped air inside of this. This was the cheese that had the highest amount of calories, so per 100 grams, 389 calories. There's a lot of low-fat options and things like that in stores these days, and it was actually quite hard to find something that has good amounts of fats in them. And the time of the year is also a big factor now in this food prep because it allows me to take things that would otherwise spoil quite quickly during summer or spring or so forth. So this is late fall. Temperatures will probably drop below freezing during the nights, during the days. Then it rises up to fridge temperature. So I can go and have my cheese while I'm out. And really, these I think are miracle makers, even if you wouldn't have your own dehydrated meals. But if you just have the basic store-bought, whatever brand, whatever, if it's, you know, high quality, low quality, cheap or expensive, whatever, if you throw the stuff inside a tortilla wrap, it suddenly becomes a completely new meal. It's a trick of the brain, I guess. It adds a bit of texture to these type of foods, which usually are usually are quite lacking in terms of the texture department. But just having the tortilla wrap there makes it a bit of a more like a, I don't know, civilized experience. And then if you throw in some cheese, if you throw in, you know, your own minced meat, dehydrated meals inside of that, you can pack quite a bit of calories in just a couple of wraps. And then whatever you have left over that didn't fit inside those couple of wraps, you can of course eat as normally straight from the bag. But main downsides, again, insane amount of weight. Just 12 of these wraps, 480 grams. And it's again something you could run your whole trip with something like this. I mean, I don't know if this says what's the weight of this. Net weight 138 grams for 600 calories when prepared, half a kilo. So, you know, you could run this, but bear in mind that 600 calories, if you think you're going to have 2 warm meals per day, that's only 1,200 kilocalories. If you are a, you know, bigger guy like myself, I probably burn somewhere close to 4,000 calories, you know, with the heavy backpack and walking 30 kilometers, something like that, bit of an uphill and so forth. So yeah, going with just 1,200 plus your breakfast isn't going to be that much. So that's why I do complement these always with something else. In this case, it's going to be tortilla wraps, fatty cheese, and then this minced meat thing that I'm going to make myself ready for. A few bags of those. Then, before moving on to the other stuff, maybe a couple of words about, oh, there you go. So what kind of cooking equipment I will be taking. So this time, no full trangia kit. So I will take my normal cooking set. The Toaks titanium pot has a capacity of 1.1 liters, and for me that is absolutely perfect. Inside of this is everything that is needed to set up the cook kit, including the spirit burner and windshield and so forth. But then I will also take I just need to find some type of bag for this, but I bought myself another Trangia pan because this is my old one and probably doesn't show up there very well, but it is quite warped, and because of that it does not function that well then during winter on top of my little stove that I have now for the hot tent. So I bought a new pan to be used then with the stove, but I want to have this that can be used on top of fire, open fires, or with this setup as well. It's perfectly usable. And then I got this. This is actually something that I wasn't aware that Trangia makes, but I had in my mind that I need some kind of you know, prepping area, cutting board, or even a bit of a plate or something. And turns out that Trangia makes these that fit perfectly inside of the pan. So I got one of those as well, again from a good discount. And then of course to go with the pan you have to have this the little pliers or the handle thingy for the Trangia. So I will take this with me, just throw it in some bag so it doesn't leave the suit everywhere. And then of course my trusty kuksa, and I know some people think it's a bit disgusting, but I like to eat my morning oatmeal out of this, then you know, scrape it and scoop it as clean as I can, and then throw in the morning coffee on top and have my coffee. And then, you know, just take one tissue or something, wipe it once, and it's good to go again. So, you know, I hate doing dishes in the outdoors, and I hate to see that, especially in very popular spots, even in Lapland, in some wilderness huts, if they are by some type of flowing water, some stream or something, and they usually are, it's not one or two times when I've seen that there's someone, you know, someone has been doing their dishes and there's like pasta and everything in the stream and by the like on the ground by the stream and so forth, or it's just something that I don't want to contribute to that kind of thing. So I don't do that type of dishes. I just eat my meals out of these to avoid it. Let's see, Terve, greetings from Sweden. Hello Sweden, good to have you representing. I'm training to become a Jägersoldat. Okay, your videos help me make a lot of choose the right boots and back for my march training. Great, great. I'm actually going to do some rocking, so foot march training myself tomorrow. I was planning to pack my backpack already tonight and kind of do a test run with that, but something came up and I will go with a bit lighter setup, maybe 10 kilos or something for tomorrow. Easy 20k hike maybe, but the main thing is that for the first time I'm going to load up Rokka's backpack properly, so we get to see how it sits now a bit with a bit heavier load, and make sure that everything has been tightened properly and so forth. Waldo Campabox Meskit, the one with 2 cups. Yeah, I ate my oatmeal, the big one, my hot chocolate with the small one. Huh. Let's come back to the hot chocolate in just a second. But to kind of cover a bit more things with the one video, or to make it a bit more applicable throughout the year, so maybe I should mention that so I do have the full Trangia kit. This is the bigger one, so the numbers are a bit strange with this, but I think 25 is the number of the bigger one and 27 is the smaller one, and this is 25, and absolutely super big and heavy, but really good during winter when you have to melt a lot of snow to make yourself some water. So really I think it's a must-have for a person in a country that has proper 4 seasons, and if you do backpack all out the year, you need big pots during winter. Then I also recently got this surplus cup thingy. Oh, there's actually someone's initials, I think M post maybe. But this is for my own military exercises, not so much for other outdoor uses. Then really traditional style, in Finnish we would call this pakki. This is actually from my grandpa, my late grandpa, who painted for some reason a lot of his stuff with this super thick green paint, which is basically indestructible. Or maybe that's the reason why he did paint a lot of things with it, but I don't see any stamps or anything, so don't know about the age of this thing, but by the looks of it, he has been using it quite a bit on top of fire as well, so it's kind of nice to have, but I rarely use it. I had my plenty of uses in the military, and I do still have that those experience during military trainings. Then actually from my other late grandpa, bit bigger coffee pot, something that I've been only using here. I have a fire pit here by our house, and I've done a few pots of coffee with this. Obviously something it's a bit impractical for backpacking use, but really cool. Not sure if this was handmade by him or if he just got it from somewhere, but nice charming pot. Then I got this one. This is I think also some Drangia lunchbox thingy. Purchased this a few years ago when I did my kind of survival training, and it was one of the requirements. You had to build a survival kit, and this was one of the suggested ways of building it. So inside of this tin, I've used it a couple of times since, but it's kind of an oddity still. Then this is back in the days when I didn't have, well, actually I didn't have most of this stuff. I got, I think this is Russian DDD pakki, or their kit. So it has, I think it's aluminum or something. It has bottle inside. It has the basic smaller piece and the bigger piece, and it was good setup. Only downsides being that this bottle smelled and probably still smells pretty bad, and it's of course really hard to clean. And who knows in what kind of stores this has been in Russia. I think I got it maybe from Varusteleka or some other military surplus store in Finland, but you know, maybe 10 years ago or something. And it's also quite hard to fit back inside of this pouch that it came with. It's a very snug fit. So currently I'm mostly running either that Drangia if it's winter time, or I want to have the bigger set for one reason or another, or then this setup. This has Drangia triangle and the spirit burner inside, and it's a small frame, but this does sit quite stably on top, but it does require a windscreen, and I do have one folded from aluminum foil to go with that. Let me jump into the chat and let's see. Yeah. Your comment about Rovaniemi was flagged as spam, but I released it. Let's see, during the summer for a week, it was pretty nice, but I really got mosquitoes. Yes, yeah, I can imagine that happening. So, you might have noticed that I don't do that much camping during the middle of the summer, and that's one of the reasons why. I don't like the heat and bugs, and the bugs are pretty bad up north during the middle of the summer. So, but I do like other seasons there. So early June is still doable in Lapland. It's perhaps my favorite season to go there. Fabric foldable boats. Denim one. Okay. No, I don't think I've tried those. I don't think I've even seen those. Yeah, the Trangia kits and similar ones have been around in many places around the world. Some direct copies and some very similar systems designed around the same time. Same can be said with this. This is, I don't know what country came up with this design the first, but it's almost identical all around the globe, especially around Europe. Super, super popular design. If I had to guess, I would say Germans came up with this. But that's just a guess. What backpack are you using now? I joined late in the stream. Sure. Show what's inside it. Okay, yeah. First the backpack, and then I can show what's inside of this. If this is what you referred to. Pretty nasty. Yeah. So backpacks wise, actually you are not tethered into anywhere, so I can briefly go through. So this is the 511 Rush 100 that you saw in my previous video. It's actually something that I am kind of using for military exercise purposes, but this, I took one of these pouches away and I'm giving it now to my friend to test under night vision to see if this lights up or not. That basically then tells me if I can use this backpack for those exercises or not, but that's why I have the shovel set up here. That's my wife's backpack, baby carrier, couple of the 511 packs, so AMP and Rush series represented. I use these for rocking mostly military surplus, old kind of, what is it called, with bigger bags. This is also military surplus Bundeswehr pack that I have some of these national park badges here. We took a look at this in the previous live stream. And then my main backpack that I'm using right now, so this is Eberly Stock Little Big Top. I have pretty extensive video about this on my channel, and yesterday I got these. So these are custom Molly pouches from, where does it say? From this company in Poland. So there we go. So Baribal. Varusteleka recently started to sell Baribal, but actually if you go to their website, you can order, well, they have a massive selection of pouches, but then you can also customize everything, and the customization doesn't necessarily cost anything extra. So for example, I picked that I wanted to have, first of all, this size, so this width and this tall. Then I chose that instead of being narrow, this is now the second deepest version. And I also chose to have this mesh inner in both of them. And all in all, these were super cheap. I cannot remember now on top of my head, but I'm now testing it out with this rucksack. And then when I have experiences with those, so basically after the trip that I'm now taking, I'll do another video and say some comments about those. Of course, doing 7 days with those with full load isn't going to be like a long-term review, but you know, it's I think for the price and apparent quality, and they are Cordura pouches, I think more people should know about that company and what they do. Yeah, no problem. I think we should do like proper tour at some point anyway, maybe for some live stream. That would be nice. I think it was Germany who came up with it. I know it was part of New York during World War II. Yeah, but during World War II, I think already this was already quite popular around the Europe. So I'm thinking that it might be older design than that. But let's take a quick look at this. So the pot itself is Toaks titanium pot with a bail handle. That was one of the main factors that I was looking for when getting this pot back in the days. This is the original carrying sack. It used to be bright orange, but as you can see, has a bit worn down. Only downside of this, and I think Toaks stuff in general, is that the lids sit very poorly. I don't know if they have fixed that more recently, but you can find other Toaks reviews online and in YouTube, and they all say the same thing. So if I put this lid on, it sort of sits. You can see that even the slightest touch completely dismantles the whole thing. So, but anyway, inside I have just a little sponge for cleaning. Never hurts to have extra matches. And then, oh, I actually should probably take this out here, but tactical firepot. So this is burnable or burning gel that I still have a bit left. I think I purchased this straight from their own store, their own web store during some Black Friday sale many years ago. But it should be more available now elsewhere as well. But it's, yeah, this is made of titanium. Then this is the Trangia triangle. So this is the centerpiece to hold the spirit burner, and then just 3 pieces that join in together to form a triangle. Once you put those and then squeeze this inside, you have your little triangle base that holds up the pot. And then here at the bottom, of course, the standard burner. And I don't have the adjustment for this lid because it broke off, and I have the kind of better, newer burner than in the actual full Trangia set. But it's still useful to carry this around, because if you just throw this on while it's burning, it still does make the intensity of the flame and the heat that comes out a lot smaller, even though it doesn't have the lid. But this is a huge factor. If it's not super windy day, or if it's not terribly cold, especially during summer, I usually always keep this on just to save some fuel. But that's it. Very simple kit, but conveniently all sits or fits inside of this. And I do have that windscreen made out of titanium foil to go with it. And as said before, it is very much necessary with the Trangia triangle because it doesn't have any type of windscreen in itself. So this time I'm going with this basic kit plus then the Trangia pan. And of course, going with the pan, even if it has been non-stick at one point, it's not a bad idea to have some type of oil with you. I have some olive oil here. Should probably take it in a small plastic bottle, this glass bottle, but I've kind of grown to like this because it is absolutely leak proof. Same cannot be said from plastic bottles. Then this is kind of my extra bag of smaller things. So I have a bunch of that instant coffee. This is for military exercises. I'm not going to have a big coffee pot with me during those. Bunch of hot chocolate. Some of these, the bigger bags, are actually from military exercise field rations, and the smaller ones I just nicked from my workplace. And then, oh, still one more. These 511 chocolate coconut flavor protein powder with energy and who knows what. Massive ingredients list, so take it as you will. Plenty of, again, sport drink powders from military exercises, leftovers, but you know, these have relatively good shelf life. These are good until January 24, so I have those around. Might take again some with me, and then let's dig in. some knäckeleipä, knäckebröd. Again, lightweight bread, but it takes a lot of space. Again, from military exercises, but I do have this with me every now and then, especially if I don't maybe take the tortilla wraps. I might take this. Oh, let's turn the guys further down. Then more stuff. It's basically tuna spread to go with bread. Again, from military exercises, I save everything that I don't eat during those exercises and bring it back home. That's why I have all this stuff. More sports drink. I think I need to donate some of these to my friends. And then I do have, there we go, seasoning, just some rough salt in a plastic container. This is actually something that I might take with me, as well as this, if I do decide to take my fishing rod with me. So if I happen to get lucky, or if I happen to have enough time to go and do some fishing, or even be in such a place where that is possible, then would be good to have those with me. Then final small bag. This is just well, there's a bunch of these are also from military exercises, and these are actually quite nice small bags of sriracha, like seasoning, so chili and sugar seasoning, as well as some bubble gum and so forth. So little bits and bobs. And out of all of these, I will then try to put together some type of a good setup depending on a trip, and probably more than anything depending on the season. So in terms of total weight, I'm never that concerned. I have never had so heavy backpack that I couldn't have carried it. And more than anything, I'm more concerned about the volume of things. So how big and bulky things are. I try to keep things small, and obviously food takes a lot of space. But luckily enough, rest of my stuff doesn't take that much space, so I can have all of this food with me. But still, a couple of comments. The fish bread, yes, yeah. So maybe there's a reason why I haven't eaten these, but yeah, tuna spread and ham spread. Maybe this winter is the winter to go and use these. But yeah, so actually the next trip that I'm going to take is going to be also a bit easier in terms of the gear that I need to carry, because first I will go from Friday until Monday to Koli National Park with a friend of mine, do a bit of a loop there, you know, nothing fancy. Of course, the dog is with me as well. And then on Monday, he'll start his journey home, and I will continue further up north. So I will go to Hammastunturi wilderness area for, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I think Friday morning I will still wake up in the wilderness. Gotta have those wilderness mornings, have my cup of coffee, the super oatmeal, hike a couple of kilometers to the car, and start the long drive home. So this is Hammastunturi wilderness area. For those who don't know, starts to be quite up there, quite far away in the north. But usually the further up north you go, the better things get, and it's good because Koli is probably not during this time of the year, next month when we go, but generally speaking, it's relatively small national park and quite popular. So it's good to balance that out by going into a big wilderness area where, you know, you can be your own master, go anywhere, camp anywhere, build fires anywhere, mostly anywhere, you know, maybe do some fishing, so forth. So it's good. It's a completely different experience, although it's, you know, back to back with that national park. But anyway, where I was going with this is that I will only need to pack 4 days of food first, leave the rest in the car, and then when I'm in the wilderness, almost under the wilderness area, I can then throw again 5 days worth of food, 4.5 maybe, worth of food in the backpack. So that said, shouldn't be a problem to fit everything inside that backpack that I have with me. Of course, I need to carry some of the dog's food as well, but that's kind of the reason why we are doing a bit of a test hike tomorrow with my dog, so I can see how much for how many days worth of food can he carry in his backpack. And even if I would, put it absolutely full of his food, is it feasible? Can he do that? Can he do 20-30 kilometers with the full backpack? I don't know. That's why we are training and testing tomorrow to see, so we don't have to do training and testing when we are actually on site in the national park and in the wilderness. So preparing in that sense as well. On a scale of 0 to 10, how much Swedish can you speak? 0.5 or 1. I think I can understand Swedish, especially written Swedish, somewhat. Definitely cannot speak. I did my Swedish courses in university and so forth. I did manage to get those through, but yeah, not a big Swedish speaker. I come from the eastern border, not the western border of Finland, so not a lot of Swedish that I can do. Joint between Sweden and Finland, Swedish. English is what they use in joint exercises. Okay, I think I have covered everything that I had to say. I was thinking about covering something about water purification and water in general, but I think we should leave that for another live stream. I think this was a good time. We managed to make this again in an hour. Maybe, one thing that I didn't mention about snacks. So I don't eat sweets, so no chocolate, no candy or anything like that. Haven't done that in 18 years or something like that. And those are super easy calories and good carbs to have. So if you like those, go for it. What I do have always in my cargo buckets, beef jerky, or a trail mix, or both, or a mixture of both. And in last live stream, I promised that we will raffle out some beef jerky. And I did look into it, how I could run a raffle during a live stream, but there wasn't any good way to do it. So instead, I want to give a fair shot to also those people who cannot join the stream. And within the next 7 days, so the following weekend, I will look back to this video, and for every comment that you leave down in, you can leave as many comments as you want, but only one counts as an entry to a raffle. I will do like a random comment picker thing in 7 days, and we'll see who the winner is, and I will post it out somewhere. So if you want to win some beef jerky, flavor of your choice, I will send stuff to you wherever you live, assuming that we can clear the customs and things like that, completely on my expense. Of course, sponsored by Kuivaliha Kundi, so rough cut beef jerky. The stuff itself is sponsored, but I will send it out on my own expense, at least for this time. So once the live stream is over, this whole video will show up on my channel. Leave a comment in it. Whatever you say doesn't matter. If it's some kind of constructive feedback, that would always be great. But other than that, leave a comment. 1 week from now, so the following weekend, we'll do a random comment picker, and I will put a video out of those picks and send some beef jerky to wherever you live. So yeah, in an hour, September live stream. We will be back again next month. Probably we'll do it then after I come back home from the trip, and if I manage, we'll do it not the following day, but day after that. So maybe we'll do like a bit of a debrief of how everything went. Did I have anything extra? Should I have picked and packed something else? And how did the stuff with food go and so forth? So maybe that's the next time topic, and you don't get to vote on that, but we can come back to the voting then in November. Couple of final questions. Thanks a lot, John. Do you still use UF Pro Striker XT jacket? I still use it. haven't found anything better. M2 Parka looks absolutely amazing, but also absolutely expensive. And they also just released a teaser video of the Generation 2 version of the Ace Winter Combat shirt. And I've used the Generation 1 since it was launched in the winter 2017-2018, and it's really great winter shirt. They came up with a new version. It's a bit different, but I'm not planning to upgrade just yet. If anyone from UF Pro ever sees this, feel free to send those to me. I love your stuff. At least those jackets, they have been really nice. All right, thanks a lot for joining, and let's first of all see you in the comment section if you want to win some beef jerky or pork jerky or deer jerky, and then next live stream roughly a month from now when I'm back from my backpacking trips. All right, thanks a lot for joining. See you.